Hey y'all, it's Danielle from Black Business Boom, and I am live today with some partners from Cadence Bank. I'm really excited to have them joining me today. We're going to be talking about mortgages. This is a very confusing time for a lot of folks that are looking to buy homes or refinance their current homes. And so we're going to have a candid, open conversation about what's going on in the mortgage industry, what's going on for those that are looking to buy or refinance, and also some amazing products that Cadence has that will allow you to reach your goals, your home ownership goals. So I'm again excited to welcome back Money Mitra. We haven't had Mitra here with us in a while. We're really excited to have her here. She's over at Cadence Bank now, processing mortgages, and she has Rob McCall joining us. Mitra, how's everything going?
Everything is going well, thank you. How are you,
Yeah,
Dan?
I am fantastic. And I'm happy to have you here. And tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing at Cadence and about the team that you and Rod are on.
So, I am a community development lender at Cadence Bank, and one of the reasons that I was drawn to making the transition to Cadence is the just really expansive products when it comes to 100% financing. We were having a lot of success in getting people into homes because we know one of the largest barriers when it comes to home ownership is the down payment. And there's a lot of, misinformation that you have to have 20% down or this large amount of money to put down to buy a home. And it makes the goal of home ownership sometimes feel like it can't be achieved. So, my goal is to really help, my clients, mitigate risk, mitigate anxiety, especially in this current market. Right now, there's those scary words of inflation, recession that is really impacting everyone's pocket, even down to our budget when it comes to buying eggs and milk and meat and things of that nature, which all impacts our bottom line. So the more money that we can keep, in our pocket while making an investment and while helping, clients to really consider home ownership, to approach it with an investor mindset and using what we call OPM or other people's money, that will put people in a much better situation. Especially, there are people sitting on the sidelines like, oh, I want to wait until I buy a home. I want to wait for a crash. What if this crash never comes? So I really suggest and try to push people to think outside of the box and to shift their mindset and to think, of creative ways and creative financing to be able to get in a home while still keeping, the control of their own money and having the autonomy of how their money is being utilized. So from that perspective, and again, from the OPM mindset of using other people's money, you can put, nothing down. You could have a realtor partner who can, negotiate seller concessions and literally only have, $500 of your own money in the deal, which is basically paying the appraisal. While, also keeping, if let's just use a simple number of 3%, 3% of 400,000, that's $12,000 that someone could keep in their pocket and just, be their own bank and supplement their mortgage payment rather than having to, over X amount of years, because most people end up refinancing within 3 to 5 years anyways. We're not naive to the fact that rates are higher than what they were. And we were a little bit spoiled when they were in, the threes and twos. And then we may not see that again. But, as those rates come back down, rather than, sometimes buying the rate down tremendously or incurring all these additional costs, as long as you can make the payment, and I, refer to that as, the max affordable payment, then you can get in the home, secure the investment, and still have that escrow account or that savings account, if you will, with your down payment money in there, or utilize that for other investments, furniture, moving costs, instead of feeling overwhelmed, not only with, your payment being higher or payment shock, and still be able to get into your home and then lower your payment as the rates come down. Most likely, we don't have a crystal ball, but within the next 1 to 2 years. So that's where these 100% programs, whether you're a first-time home buyer or, a professional, there's so many different options to be able to utilize and to get in and, again, have that control over your own money. So I have Rod McCall here today. He's the division manager at Cadence Bank, and he's here to have this conversation with us and to discuss, the different options that we have available to, support our community and to, really connect people with the dream of home ownership. So
Yeah,
Wonderful. Welcome, Rob.
and I appreciate you guys inviting me. And man, this is really exciting. I tell people I've been in this arena for 33 years, and nothing surprised me. Let me tell you a little bit about Cadence first, and then myself, because obviously, who wants to talk to strangers, right? But no, Cadence been around for over 150 years, and the great thing about Cadence is our foundation has been helping folks become homeowners. Because in a lot of communities, especially Black and Brown communities, uh, home ownership has been the greatest way to accumulate wealth. And so what we try to do is go out through the many resources that we have and really promote how do you become a homeowner in this day and time? How do you become financially fit in this day and time? We're a full service bank. So not only will we help you with home ownership, but we also help you in terms of how to be financially fit. So that means that if we're talking about investments, if we're talking about starting a business, I mean, we can help in many, many ways. But I really want to focus on home ownership because one of the things that was talked about early is how do we get folks into a home with the least amount of money out of pocket? That's really where we start. And us as a bank, we have invested a lot in terms of technology. So you can be at your home, for example, in a matter of a few minutes. We can send you a link. You can fill the application out, or you can talk to us on the phone. We can take the application. When we take the application, what we try to do is, number one, how do we get you approved with the least amount of money out of pocket? And the great thing is that we got a host of different programs. But in some cases, maybe when we try to get you approved, maybe we want to run into some stumbling blocks and we can't get you 100% financing. And then we look at things like, are there down payment assistance programs available? But at the end of the day, once we look at those things, two things we're going to give you once we do get you approved. The first thing we're always going to do is give you what is called a pre-approval. With the pre-approval, you're able to know exactly what the maximum you're able to go up to. The second thing we're going to do is give you a loan estimate. With the loan estimate, you don't have to guess in terms of how your loan is structured. How do I present my offer to the seller? And in doing that, the hope is that you're with the loan estimate and the pre-approval letter, that seller will see that you're serious, that everything's in place for you to move forward pretty quickly. And that has been a winning combination for a lot of folks. So again, when we start the pre-approval process, it's a matter of looking at our suite of products, regardless of what situation you're in, and how do we move you forward with the least amount of money out of pocket to help that process be a very seamless process for you and you become a homeowner. So again, I'm open to any questions or anything that you guys may have, because again, there's a lot of folks out there who's looking at this economy and are sitting on the fence because they're telling themselves rates are high. And I have to remind people that there's a 100-year pandemic that caused the rates to be that low because the economy was struggling a little bit. And so the government actually helped to make rates extremely low for a long time. And we have got accustomed to that. But the norm has been, in my 33 years experience in the industry, where rates are in the 5 and 6 and 7% range. And that's where typically what we are at now. But because we're used to hearing 2s and 3s over the last couple of years, we have become accustomed to that being the norm. And again, that historically has not been the norm. So what we tell folks is, in this environment, there is still a shortage of homes, number one. So if you're very interested in being a homeowner, maybe you adjust your budget and you move forward. Because in this economy, we tell people it's important to date the rate, but marry the house or the home. And what that means is, if you're sitting on the fence waiting for rates to come down, you might be waiting for a little while. because may not come down to the twos and the threes that you're accustomed to seeing over the last couple of years, but they are, and they have been coming down for the last few days, but we don't see them and forecast them going into the twos and threes. So we want you to maybe adjust your budget, get with a real estate agent, find the house of your dream, and then in many cases, stay in that house for a few years, either put it on the market and sell it, and again, get the equity from that when you do sell it. Because again, no one wins if you're not moving forward with home ownership and you're constantly renting. And and we definitely want folks to win by buying a home and capture some of the equity in that home if they decide to sell later on. But again, and like I said earlier, in our community, home ownership has been the greatest way to accumulate wealth.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Rod. And I think that I appreciate you all so much for having this conversation with me, because we have to start to shift the mindset around home ownership and what's possible for us as well. And so, as Mitra mentioned, many times we let what we've heard about a down payment, what we've heard about the process, or what we think, we won't be able to do because of our credit score, or past challenges, keep us from even trying. So there is a process to at least try and see if you can get pre-approved. Mitra, so tell us a little bit about these products that you all have available that may be of assistance to those that are sitting on the fence, or they may be concerned, that they don't have the down payment. Tell us about some of the products that you may have to assist those folks.
Yes, so we have multiple different products depending, really just to meet you wherever you are. I would say, for first-time home buyers, we have a product that's called Right at Home. And this, is an offering that's up to 100% rather than, 400,000. It can actually go up to 425,000. And then there are other situations where if it's in certain areas, like in Nashville and areas around Nashville, if it meets the qualifications, it can actually go up to the conforming conventional limit, which is 726,200. So, that provides a much larger, purchase price to be able to acquire a home and to use the 100%. And, if it's in a, minority census tract, which we can, look this up, if it's above 50% minority, then you can go up to that amount, as long as you qualify for it. Minimum credit score, we're looking at, 640 so very low barrier to entry to get in there. And again, you can buy something up to 425,000, but in some situations up to 726,200. There's also opportunity that if the value of the home, if it appraises for more, sometimes people are looking to buy a home, but they're like, oh, I really don't like this kitchen, or there are just some changes that I want to make. Like I really want to change my, primary bathroom. They can actually get up to $15,000 as if the appraised value, comes in at that level, and they can take those funds and they can use it to do the renovations as well, to customize, the home that they're looking for too. So that's, a huge option there. Rod, is there anything you want to add to that?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I love about the Right at Home program is that when you get into really the weeds of the program and the flexibility, let's just say, for example, someone does not have a credit score. Maybe there's a senior or a young person who just graduated and really haven't built a credit score. But guess what? The Right at Home allows you to use non-traditional credit. So can you imagine someone using their gym membership in order to really use that as a credit reference? Maybe they've been paying rent while they've been in school or college or something like that, or utility bills, or like someone who used Netflix to really get a credit reference and get qualified. And the great thing about it is that we only ask for two non-traditional credit things in order to use as a reference for credit. And here's what I really love is that in many cases, it used to be, hey, we need that non-traditional credit reference to be within the last 2 years. No, that's not the case with us. You can go back as far as 5 years, 10 years, and show us where maybe you paid someone over a short time period, 24 months or greater, and we can use that as a non-traditional credit. So I love the flexibility of that. The other thing about that program, which is unique, and I'm going to give you guys a quick story of someone who used the Right at Home program. It was a young lady who worked for 8 years, and then she all of a sudden got married. When she got married, she stopped working. So for 6 years, she didn't work. Unfortunately, she called us and said, "Hey, I'm going through a divorce, and I need to buy a house, and they're telling me I don't qualify because I've been out for years, and I just went back on my job for only 2.5 months, and everyone is telling us that we have to be on our job for at least 6 months or greater." But the Right at Home program, she was able to close because when there's a large gap of employment where you were not working and then all of a sudden you go back, the Right at Home program only just as little as 2 months back on that current job. If you're back on that current job for just 2 months, we consider that stable and you're allowed to close on that loan. So that was a wonderful story. And that's the reason why in the pre-qualification, pre-approval stage, we tend to go a little deeper with customers to make sure that we get the full story as community development lenders so that we can make sure that programs like the Right at Home product are products that they can use. And what I love also about the product, and Mitra mentioned earlier, 100% financing, no mortgage insurance. And also in many cases, we're able to reduce our closing costs because people qualify for this loan. We automatically reduce our closing fees by $500 or $500. And if they are what we call community heroes, we can waive an additional $500. So what is a community hero? There are people who are in the medical field or maybe law enforcement or military. We're able to reduce an additional 500 for a total of $1,000. So not only do the program helps to get you in there with minimum money out of pocket, but we also reduce the closing fees, and we're pretty proud of that because we have actually eliminated over $1 million in closing fees for customers this year alone because of their being community heroes. So again, a lot we do around that product, and again, we offer so many other products as well that Mitch may want to talk about. But yeah, we're excited to really tell that story around what we're doing.
Yes, and in some of the situations, I know I mentioned like the minority census tract, but there are also situations where there's no income limit. So, a lot of the, red tape is kind of going out the window, if it's in, like a low to moderate income census tract. And again, that's something that I would look up. But for example, like in the neighborhood that I live in, which you have some homes that are like 300 something thousand or 400,000, then you have some that are 920,000. But because it's low to moderate income based upon how the tract is created, it actually qualifies for no income limit. So in some programs, it's capped at like 100 something thousand. That doesn't exist here. Or in the minority census tract, it can go up to 200% of what we call the AMI, the average median income, which would be like 200,000 something dollars. So a lot more flexibility, to put it in layman's terms, a lot more flexibility when it comes to, qualifying income wise as well. And then, yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We have a, medical professional program as well, for doctors. So, there's different criteria. They can go, they can buy a home up to 100%, up to 750,000 with the 680 and up to 1.25 million with the 720. So there's a lot of flexibility for, doctors. And that includes whether you're a medical resident, a medical fellow, a doctor of osteopathic medicine, a doctor of dental surgery, a doctor of dental medicine, or an ophthalmologist. So again, great for our medical field and those physicians as well. And then also we have professional and premier professional. And I'll let Rod tell you a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, the great thing about the professional is that, regardless of what career field you're in, typically the professional product is for someone, let's say they're 250,000 in income or greater. They have the ability to qualify for 100% financing with a 680 credit score or greater. So again, the only criteria typically is a $250,000 income. Also, we want them to have a minimum of 40,000 investable asset. It doesn't have to be with our bank, but just have that, and we can do 100% financing up to 750,000. And the great part about it, there's no mortgage insurance, and we love that because again, on a home that size, typically, and you guys know that in the past, mortgage insurance was an insurance you paid when you did not put a 20% down payment into a home. So it made home ownership more costly. And by us waiving the mortgage insurance, more people are able to qualify. And the fact that you can go up to 750 with a minimum down payment, with no down payment is really huge. Now you can go up at higher amount, up to $1 million with just 5% down, and then greater as well. And that's why we want you to reach out to Mitra during the pre-qualification stage, so that we can determine what product is best for you. Our premier product typically allows you to go a little bit higher. Someone who makes a little bit higher income, $500,000 and greater, they can go up to a loan amount over $1.5 million in terms of no down payment. And then if they want to go up to $2 million, there's a minimum down payment for that as well. But again, it's for professionals. So if you're an engineer, you don't have to be a doctor to get 100% financing. You can be an engineer. You can be an architect. There's a lot of superintendents. There's a lot of folks in that Nashville arena and surrounding areas that really, from a qualification point of view, have really taken advantage of this product. And here's the reason why. So many people asked us, they say, hey, you know what? I got my money invested in certain things. I would love a program where I do not have to take that money out and put into the house in the form of a down payment. Well, we respect the fact that you know how to invest your money. And so if we can offer a product that allows you to keep your money where it is, but yet get 100% financing, historically, as Mitra and I talked about earlier, the value of houses have continued to go up over the years. And without a doubt, it still is a wise investment. So it's a win-win when you can keep your money invested to where it's at, maybe in the stock market, and you get 100% financing, and you get the flexibility of working with a full service bank. That means that, like I said, there's things that we waive, the mortgage insurance and so forth. But also, let's say, for example, you decide, you know what, I got this house at 100% financing, but it's going to be my forever home. But I want to now all of a sudden reduce my monthly payment. Because we are a full service bank, you can actually contact us, decide if you want to make a large deposit towards the principal, and we will do what is called a recast of your loan. That means that we will subtract the amount of money that you decide to put on the loan, and then we re-amortize it to reduce your monthly payment. In a lot of cases, lenders don't service their own loans, and when you make a money towards the balance, they do not re-amortize the loan. Well, we will re-amortize it because we are a full service bank. And we will do that with many of our in-house product as well as conventional product. So again, if you are a professional, reach out to Mitra. Same thing if you're a doctor, or if you're someone who's a first-time home buyer or a seasoned home buyer, we offer a suite of different programs that allow you to get in there with basically 100% financing, no mortgage insurance, in many cases reduced closing costs, and flexibility on the qualification of how you can get in there. Because even though the guideline says 680, there are certain circumstances that we can actually go down to a 640 credit score. You heard me right, 640 under expanded guidelines, and still allow you to close at 100% financing. And that's why I'm encouraging you to reach out to her and start that process. Behind the scenes, my job is to make sure the process is seamless. And so I provide infield support to Mitra. But again, as a subject matter expert, she is. Once you work with her, again, the ease of making the application in a few minutes, typically, because we have very no credit overlays, we can let you know in a matter of minutes that you're pre-qualified. And again, like I said earlier, we give you two things: a loan estimate and an approval letter, and that is a lot of strength that you go to a seller with, and we hope that you'll get the contract in this crazy market here where there's very little inventory in some cases.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you so much for that, Rod. Mitra, can you tell the folks how can they find you if they're ready to learn, if they are pre-qualified and can go out and buy their home, or if they heard about some of these products that may suit their needs? What's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
You guys can reach out to me at my website, which is www.moneymitramortgage.com. So we all know how to spell money, and then Mitra, Mitra, mortgage.com. You can also feel free to send me a direct message or, comment and add me in the comments as well. And I'd be more than happy to assist.
Fantastic. Well, it was such a pleasure having you back with me today and having Rod join us. Learned a lot. I learned a whole lot today. And I hope that the audience did as well. Be encouraged that there are folks out there to help you accomplish whatever you set out to do and what your dreams are of home ownership. Get in touch with Mitra, moneymitramortgage.com. I have dropped the link in the comments so you all can't say you don't know how to find her. She's here to support you and support the community. Again, I appreciate you all so much for joining me today. It was amazing having you. And I look forward to having you all back again. Hopefully next year we'll be coming back to talk about these rates have changed and folks are out there buying. But like you said, Rob, we don't have a crystal ball. We'll find out. I'll see you all again soon. Again, thanks for tuning